Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another Blues News episode. It's going to be sort of like a Mighty discussion episode. I'm just sort of mixing the two in one live stream. Basically there's a couple of things I wanted to speak about. One is more of a news sort of subject and one is more of a discussion. So I thought, you know what, I'll just mix them both together and pick a name for it. Basically, as you can see in the boxes on my right, yeah, that's the one. On my right, you can see some information there about Andre Gomes. Spanish media outlet Sport have basically rumoured that Everton are in talks with Barcelona over a permanent deal for Andre Gomes. The deal will be worth around 25 to 30 million euro, so around 22 million pounds if it's 25 million euro. So we'll talk about that in this video. I did ask in a couple of streams ago, you know, if we were to sign Andre Gomes, how much would you guys be willing to pay? What would be the most you'd be willing to pay? That was before the Chelsea game, and a lot were saying within the region of 25, 30 odd million pounds. So, you know, it sort of goes in with that. And the other one is, of course, the discussion element, and that is, I want to talk about the Goodison Park atmosphere and how I believe it, you know, it's improved massively, and you can very, very clearly see it in the players since, obviously, the Siren has been brought in. I'll give my opinions on the Siren. It'll be really, really interesting to hear your guys' opinions if you're watching this live as well. If you're watching it as a YouTube video afterwards, leave them all in the comment section down below, because I think it's a really, really big discussion in terms of Everton Football Club at the minute. You know, it's quite clear to see that the two games that we've used the Sirens in, aka the Derby and Chelsea games against, you know, on the face of it, you know, two top six sides, one challenging for the league and one challenging for the top four, and you know, we've managed to take 4 points out of that game and keep 2 clean sheets. And out in both games, the players and the manager have come out and said, listen, the atmosphere of the crowd was absolutely amazing, and it no doubt helped us to, you know, achieve this result. So, you know, it's definitely worth talking about. I'm just going to tweet this team out so everybody knows we are live on Twitter. A massive thank you to everybody that watched yesterday's live game review of the Chelsea game. Really long stream, really fun, interesting stream, and we got loads and loads of interaction as well, so massive thank you for that. Kadir says, hi mate, hi Kadir, hope you are okay. Jamie says, yes mate, yes Jamie, hope you are doing well. Jamie also says 28 million, I think that'd be a good deal, to be honest, for Andre Gomes. I certainly think, I'll give my opinions in just a second, but just briefly, I certainly think if we can get him for around 25 million pounds, I think it's a good deal in this day and age. I mean, you look at some of the players that left clubs in the summer for, you know, in and around that price. You know, you'd have Dominic Solanke going to Bournemouth for like 17 million. This is a lad that, you know, I think has scored one Premier League goal, hardly ever played for Liverpool, and he's going for 17 million. Then you look at a player like Andre Gomes and how good Andre Gomes can be when he's fully fit and his head's in the game, and how calm and composed he is on the ball. And, you know, let's just, you know, look at it on the face of it. When Andre Gomes first broke into the team, it was very clear that he was, you know, yards and if not miles better than sort of any midfielder technically that we've got at the moment on the ball. So I think, you know, the fact that he's obviously played for quite a period of time now, and maybe some games he has tailed off and maybe his fitness has been an issue, it's still clear that he's got that quality that we desperately need. And I think for 25 million, you know, that's a good deal for me. You know, when we were first absolutely enjoying his presence on the football pitch, there was some people saying, you know, give Barcelona what they want. It might be 80, it might be 70. Barcelona, rumours from Barcelona were coming out that they might want 70 odd million. I think that'd be a little bit steep, and if that was the case, you'd probably sit there and go, maybe a little bit too much. There's probably better players out there, but for 25 million, I think it'd be a good deal if this rumour is true. Of course, at the minute, it is only paper talk. Mike says, I would say 25 to 30 million all day, mate. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike, 100%. And Jamie says the Siren is pretty mental, isn't it? It is absolutely mental, and it's unbelievable for me. And do you know what the thing is with the Siren is, I've spoken about it briefly on streams before, but I've never really gone into it, and I never really went into it because I wanted to do a stream, aka this one today, to you know, really go into what I thought about the Siren. And I think just off the front, just the main, you know, if you think about a Siren, let's not associate it with Everton, let's just see it as what it is. A Siren, a war siren, that has got all the connotations as to something's about to happen, you know, something's about to go down. You should hide, you should get cover, and you should protect yourself, because, you know, there's about to be a massive, you know, well, let's go back to the war. There's about to be a bomb dropped, basically, and, you know, it's going to shake up the whole world. And I think that just the connotations of what a war siren brings, and, you know, that typical World War II siren that, you know, many people around this country will have heard at that time, and that will have told them, get to, you know, a safe place, because, you know, you're in danger here. I think the connotations that brings, and that will give to, you know, the football team, and not just the Everton team, but the away fans will be sitting there thinking, Jesus Christ, this is a little bit intimidating. The away players will be thinking, this is a little bit intimidating. Jamie says there, it gets people in the fighting mood. It does. It gets people ready. And for me, not just that, it's a good start to Zcars as well, and it's a good indication for fans to go, right, Zcars is about to come on now, let's get to me seat. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, sometimes you can still be buying your pint, you can still be having a piss, and Zcars can come out, and, you know, before you can get to your seat and sit down or stand up and, you know, turn around, look at the pitch, the players are already halfway on the pitch. So you miss that vital part of Zcars when it hits, and the air stand up on your arms and your legs, and you start to go, come on, let's get at these today. And, you know, you miss that because it hits you so unexpectedly, and you turn around and, you know, next minute you're having a conversation and there's Zcars, and you don't quite have that time to sort of fathom it. Whereas if you're having a conversation with the person next to you, or you're down getting a pint and you're there, a big war sign, and you know it's about time, you know it's gonna go down. Zcars is about to, you know, fucking go off. So you get back to your seat, or, you know, you stand and you watch and you go, come on, this is it now. And then when Zcars hits, it really gives the crowd a massive lift, because you're expecting it, you know it's about to hit, so you're already anticipating it. And then when it hits, all that emotion comes out, and it all just floods out, and you can feel it in the stadium. You felt it against Liverpool, and you felt it against Chelsea, even though they half cocked it up against Chelsea, and they had, you know, just as a sound of a siren basically, and then a pause for 10 seconds, and then Zcars, which I thought was a little bit dodgy. Obviously we'll speak a little bit about it in a second there, but for me, just off the cuff, I think the siren is an absolutely fantastic idea. Obviously, not even mentioning the fact that Tony Bellew has used it for pretty much all his fights in the last however many years. You know, he's used that siren, that war siren, to signify that he's going to go to war. He's going to leave every single ounce of his body in that ring. You know, there's the "Are you not entertained?" before the Tony Bellew one as well, and then obviously Zcars hits and it gets him going as well. I think, you know, it was fantastic to hear in the derby, because it was fantastic to see him there, and, you know, as an Evertonian, it must be unbelievable to see the club using, you know, something that you've created for yourself, using a little bit of the club's identity to walk out to. And there's absolutely no doubt it give the players a lift. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind it give the fans a lift. I don't think anybody would disagree that it give the fans a lift against Liverpool. And like I said, the only sort of critical thing I'd have to say about the game against Chelsea was the fact that they didn't use the same version. They used the version of Zcars against Liverpool, which was, I believe, is from a DJ, an Evertonian DJ, who is, you know, who's made one song, one track, which is Zcars, and then it fades in, and, you know, it fades out, and then Zcars fades in. Whereas on Sunday against Chelsea, they sort of just used war siren, as if they'd gone to YouTube and gone war siren and bang, and then they paused and then went hit the Zcars button, and that doesn't quite have the same effect for me. It has to be in one, you know, flowing movement, and that's how the fans will hear it, and that's how the fans will be able to, you know, get behind it. We spoke about this on Toffee TV when I went on there on Monday. If you haven't seen the final word for the Chelsea game, please do go and check it out, because we spoke about this for about 10 minutes. We spoke about the Originals, who are the group that, you know, Siren, who are attempting to get the atmosphere going at Goodison Park, you know, come with the absolutely amazing banners that you're seeing every week. It's from those guys. They're unbelievable. They sit in a section of the ground and they create an atmosphere. They get the songs going, and massive kudos to them and appreciation to them, because, you know, they're the type of groups that will need to get the atmosphere back at Goodison Park, and to get it like what it was, to get it a, you know, a Lions cage, and to get opposition fans and opposition players coming and being intimidated by that. Like I said, for me, you know, we spoke about it on Toffee TV. I'll mention it here briefly on the stream. It does need to be one track. It needs to be one flowing track. And, you know, the lads on Toffee TV said that it'd be good if it started maybe a 10-3 per se, if we were having a 3 o'clock kickoff, and it had a few famous quotes of, you know, Evertonians in the past, a few famous, you know, moments of Everton, and then it, you know, the siren hit, and then Zcars hit, and it was a flowing thing, and you knew that when you started to hear those quotes, you know, Zcars, where the siren was about to hit, and then immediately after Zcars was about to hit, and that's how you get ready for the game of football. You know, whether the club will decide to do that or not is, you know, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, there's plenty of fantastic DJs out there that would do that. I mean, I can name 2 world-renowned DJs now, Camel Fat and Anton Powers, both, you know, worldwide DJs, both Evertonians, and both, if the club, for me, went to them and said, listen, will you make a rendition of Zcars with the siren, and add a couple of, you know, other elements of the, you know, club football, quotes from ex-players, quotes from managers, maybe the, you know, the famous one, one Evertonian's worth 20 Copites. I've definitely cocked that up, but you know what I mean. You get what I'm talking about. And use that and sort of build on it. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's use the fact that it's intimidating. Let's use the fact that it gets the fans going, it gets the fans round for our advantage, because it obviously has an effect on the players, and it does. We've played 2-6 sides there before. We played Liverpool. Every top 6 side we played this season we were beaten by, except Chelsea, I believe, away from home. You know, we got a point against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Every other game we were beaten. Brings in the Siren, gets the players going, gets the fans going. Immediately after the game, Marco Silva's coming out and saying if the atmosphere is even 70% of what it was today, then half of our job's done. The fans were absolutely fantastic, and you know that was because of that atmosphere, and that atmosphere was created by a little bit different. Nobody expected the Siren at the derby. Nobody expected to hear before Zcars, but everybody knew when they heard it what it was. They knew, oh my god, this is the Tony Bellew version of Zcars, and Zcars is about to hit and we can go absolutely ballistic. And then the Chelsea game, we done it again, and again the atmosphere built in the second half, and again we ended up winning that game, and again players and the manager were coming out and saying the atmosphere is helping us. So for me, there's no excuse for us to not use it at every game. I've seen, you know, a couple of people, and I suppose it's part of the discussion, you know, people saying only use it in big games, only use it, you know, in derbies, only use it when we're on the back foot. No, for me, listen, every game is a big game. What is a big game? What is a big game? And Baz made an absolutely fantastic point. He said, well, then the games that you don't use it in, opposition teams are going to go out and go, oh, so we're not a big game, eh? We'll show you how much of a big game we are. Use it in every single game. If we're playing Burnley at home on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, it's pissing down, it's freezing, use the Siren. They're the games that you need to use it, you know, more than any, you know, if not, because they're the games that fans aren't naturally going to be in the mood to be standing up, in the mood for singing, in the mood for screaming. The games when it's dull, you know, it's cold, it's of a night. You know, using it in a Merseyside derby is absolutely amazing, and it ups the atmosphere, but the atmosphere is already at a decent level anyway. So when we need to be using it, you know, in those games that the atmosphere mightn't be fantastic, to build it, to get the players, to get the fans going, and to automatically have that effect on the players, that which clearly has an effect on the performance. David says, I called £25-30 million a few weeks ago. Yeah, fair enough, and you know, I think that's probably around about what we'll be looking to pay now, to be honest. James says, I know I was stepping out onto the pitch listening to that, I would be pumped and thinking I was the big lad, haha. Exactly, 100%, as would I. EFC 1878 says the Siren gets the opposition team shitting themselves, so yeah, I'd say keep it. It makes the crowd intimidating for the opposition. 100% agree with that. James says it's fucking brilliant. It is. David says Chelsea fans were singing "We Forgot You Were Here" and "Is This a Library?" That was in the first half, at a point when, you know, I think the level of football we were watching wasn't really good enough, and I think fans sort of were affected by that. In the second half, the atmosphere was much improved for me. James says, couldn't care less about Chelsea fans, to be honest, David. And David says, me neither, but they had a point in the first half, soon shut up after half time, of course. Rob says, have you ever had a match day experience in the lounges, mate? Is it any good? I haven't personally, but I dare say, you know, the hospitality is quite good. And Rob says, get speakers down the tunnel so the Siren starts down there. Yeah, and you know, the players need to hear it, and the players will hear it, of course, when they're coming out the tunnel at Goodison Park. There's a video of Kurt Zuma, actually, as he's coming out for the Merseyside derby, and you know, not only does he hear the Siren hits, not only does he hear Zcars hit, but he hears the fans' reaction, he hears the fans up, he hears the fans screaming, and he literally sits there and goes, oh my god, and you can see it, and it's that effect that it has on the players. When you've got 40,000 fans screaming and singing and shouting and fighting for you, your level automatically goes up. That's just a human, for me, in my opinion, that's just a, you know, part of a human body. If you're, you know, we use this comparison, if you're, you know, running a race or something, and you're absolutely effing knackered, and you know, you get into the last stretch, and you know, you're really wanting to beat it, but you've got nothing at all left, and you know, you've got nobody around you, you're more likely to think, oh, you know what, I can't be arsed here, I'll just walk it, or I'll just give up. Where if you've got a crowd of 300 people going, come on, if you've got tunes blasting, you're going to go, yeah, you know what, it gives you that little bit of adrenaline, it gives you that little bit of energy to get that extra mile when you didn't know you had it. It brings that out of you. You know, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got 40,000 fans screaming for him to chase it, you know, a ball that idea, you know, ordinarily you'd say it's running away from him, he's going to chase it, and you know, more than likely than not, he's going to get to it, because fans will suck him towards the ball, and that energy that a player might think I haven't got, he will automatically come out, because he will feel that energy from the fans, and that will transfer onto the football pitch. And you know what, you could sit here and you could say, well, that's all well and good, but it's not proven, and it's just a theory at the minute. But for me, it is proven, because against Liverpool, Marco Silva come out and said if the atmosphere is 70% of that in every home game, 30 to 40% of our job's done. The players were coming out saying the atmosphere was unbelievable. It really helped us. Against Chelsea, Michael Keane, Andre Gomes, the manager, all come out and said, you know what, the atmosphere really, really helped us there. It gave us that, that little bit more that we needed to go on and win a game of football. And I don't think anybody would disagree that atmospheres clearly help teams, and the performances on a football pitch help the atmosphere as well. But for me, before the game, there needs to be something that kickstarts the crowd. There needs to be something that gets the crowd going, that sets that base level, and then the performance on the pitch makes it go that way. And I don't know, we score a goal, it goes a little bit further up, players chasing balls, it goes up, and then at the end of it, you've got a fantastic atmosphere. And for me, that base mark is the Siren version of Z-Card. But like I've said, it needs to be one version, so it's just one button pressed, and that's it. Then it's a Siren, or it's some a famous footballing coach from Everton, ex-Everton players, ex-Everton managers, or even current players and managers. And then you've got it fades in nicely to Z-Cards, not just a Siren and then Z-Cards, because you end up making the same mistake as to what was made against Chelsea, and that was just literally somebody at Everton had gone on, typed in Siren on YouTube, pressed it, and then forgot to press Z-Cards immediately after, and there was a pause of about 10 seconds, which was just a little bit, it defeated the object really of using the Siren, if you like. If you've got it as one whole sort of track and you're playing it 5-10 minutes before kickoff, and then the Siren hits and fans go, right, we're going to war now, the players go, right, we're going to war now, it's time to get your heads in gear. If you're thinking about anything else, get it out your mind, you're thinking about the football pitch and Everton Football Club now, then it'll work a lot better than, like I said, if you're just using a Siren and playing it before Z-Cards. It needs to feel like it's one track, and it needs the players need to feel like, right, with time to go to war now. We need the opposition fans to go, shit, what's that? That's mad. I've never heard that anywhere, because you'll never hear it, at any other football ground. That's crazy. We need the opposition players to go, oh, that's intimidating, before they've even kicked the ball. And then it gives the players the lift to get into players. And, I think the way we started the game off against Chelsea didn't help either, because we had the side and we had the crowd, and if there was any bit of intimidation from the Chelsea fans or the Chelsea players, it left and it disappeared once the first half played out, and we started to look a little bit sheepish, and we didn't want to put a foot in, and we gave them a little bit too much respect. We need to start the first half of games how we started and ended the second half of the Chelsea game. We need the Siren to go off, we need Z-Cars to go off, and then we need to be going in hard, chasing balls down straight away, running players down, and letting players know that we're going to war. Because for me, 15 out of the 20 teams in the Premier League, if you start games like that, you'll beat them, because they'll crumble straight away. And you'll only really have trouble beating the top sides who are used to playing under that sort of circumstance. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on the Siren Z-Cards in the comment section down below. If you're watching it as a YouTube video, leave them in the comment section. If you're watching it live as a stream, of course, leave them in the live comments. It'd be really, really interesting to hear what you guys think. Do you think we should keep it? Do you think we should keep it for every game? Or are you a fan that thinks maybe we should only have it for big games? Let me know in the live comments or the comment section down below. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please do leave a like. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Rob says, can see Pickford was on his game Sunday, but that's how he should be. Focus on what he's paid to do rather than acting like a clown. 100%. And we spoke about Jordan Pickford for about 20 minutes on yesterday's live game review, and absolutely hit the nail on the head there, mate. That's what he should be doing. He should just be focusing on his game, and we shouldn't really know he's there. For performance like the one on Sunday, where he's making 5 or 6 top class saves in a game, that should be the norm. That should be every single week that Jordan Pickford's doing that. We should leave the pitch and someone go, Jordan Pickford made 5 good quality saves today, and we should go, yeah, he does that every week. That's what Jordan Pickford does. We shouldn't be going, fucking hell, yeah, he had a really, really good game today compared to, what he had last week or whatever. And you're 100% right. That's what he needs to focus on rather than, other distractions, shall we say. And Emily says, hi guys. Hi Emily, I hope you are doing okay. So anyway, yeah, I think, the atmosphere for me at Goodison Park has been a massive talking point. We've spoke about it on the channel before. We've done a couple of live streams on the atmosphere even before the Siren was used, even before we knew anything about the Siren being used. We spoke about the atmosphere and how we need to, build it, and we need to start getting it back to how it was, 5, 6, 10 years ago, when teams would literally fear Goodison Park, because it would be like a Lions Den, and they would be coming to one of the most hostile grounds in England, and they'd know that they're being for a fight. And that was how we won a lot of games. That was how we won a lot of games back in the Moyes era, was by intimidating teams and by never giving up and by constantly going and by the atmosphere being fantastic. That's how we won a lot of games of football around then, and we need to get back to that sort of that position for me. And like I said, a massive shout out to the originals, who are the group that are, creating all the banners that you're seeing on the Gladys Street. Created the banner, I believe, the big Everton one and the one with all the number 9s on as well, and they believe they sit in a segment of the ground, GT4 I think it is, or GT5, and they literally just sing the heart out from minute 1 to minute 90, and it automatically gets the rest of the crowd going, because I think a lot of fans, not just Everton fans, I think a lot of football fans want to stand up and want to sing and want to be a part of it, but they don't necessarily want to start it off. They want to join in if it happens, and I understand that, to be honest. I understand that to an extent, because sometimes I sit there and I go, don't really want to, I'll admit it, I don't really want to sit here and start a chant, but if a chant starts going, I'll 100% get up, and that's why I respect them boys massively for what they are doing for the football club, and I know 100% the football club appreciate it as well, because they're working with them to try and get them spread out across the ground to try and get them an allocated position, so that the noise travels around the stadium, so that it passes everybody, and so that everybody gets up and start singing as well. And like I said, I believe they had a big involvement in the Z cars, the Siren version of the Z cars as well, which worked absolute wonders in our last 2 home games, hasn't it? Because I don't think we'd won a home game since November at Goodison Park in the Premier League, before we beat Chelsea on Sunday, and then obviously getting the draw against Liverpool. One a Merseyside derby, 2 games against top 6 sides, 1 game against the side fighting for the title, and we've took 4 points there. And in both games we've played really well, and in both games, like I said, the players and the manager have come out and said that was down to the atmosphere. So for me, I think we should use it every game. Like I said, there's an argument for only using in big games, and I understand it, but for me, the smaller games are the games that we need to use it more. If we're going to use it at any point, for me, it's like I said, it's those games midweek when it's pissing down, when it's freezing, and you're playing a team that you're not necessarily naturally going to go, I'm really up for this. I sat in the pub before the derby and went, I'm dead up for this. I can't wait to get to the ground. I can't wait to sing my heart out. I can't wait to stand up. I can't wait to scream. And then the siren went off and I went, shit, this is amazing. Oh my God, this, the other, but I was going to be there was going to be an atmosphere in the Merseyside derby, because of course there is, because you want to beat your bitter rivals. We hate Liverpool Football Club, and we want to beat them, so we're going to generate that atmosphere. Naturally, maybe if you're going to watch your team play Burnley at home on a Wednesday night, you mightn't have that natural feeling of course you still want your team to win, but you mightn't have that natural, I'm well up for this, I can't wait for this. So that's why, for me, if it's going to be used at any point, it needs to be used in them games where the atmosphere needs a little bit of a boost, and then of course it needs to be used in the big games to give the players that boost, to get us past teams like Chelsea, and get us a decent result against the side like Liverpool as well, who, let's be honest, are one of the best teams in the league at the minute. And I hate to say it, but it's true. David says, Dom or Lucas on pens. You know what? It's a really, really good question. I don't know, to be honest, David. Dominic Calvert-Lewin seems to fancy himself. He wanted the penalty on Sunday, and I know that he scored a couple in the under-23s, and I know that he scored a couple for England as well, in the youth system. I think Luca Dean is quite the obvious pick, because he's fantastic at football. He can kick a ball and he knows where the goal is. But I don't know. I'd like to see Luca Dean on penalties. I would, because I just think he's got the calmness, he's got the composure, and I think he's got the quality to bury them. But if Dom fancies a penalty and he's putting them in the top bin, then fair enough. One thing for sure, I think Gylfi Sigurdsson should be taken off them, and that's my opinion. David says, seeing Big Dunk bouncing up and down the technical area would generate an atmosphere. It would, but I 100% agree with you, it definitely would, but you need, I think, for that to generate as well, you already need sort of a baseline atmosphere to go off. You need, that would get fans up, and it would get fans singing, and it would get fans, into the game, because, you're watching an Everton legend there who's showing as much passion as the fans, but the fans need to show that level as well. And for me, I think a really, really good way to do that is to have things like the signing before the game and before Z cars, and to get the players going. If you have enjoyed the stream so far, please do leave a like. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me, and subscribe if you haven't already. So I suppose we'll go on to speaking about the other point of today's live team. Andre Gomes, the Barcelona midfielder on loan currently at Everton, of course. The Portuguese man, when he first broke into the team, we all said, listen, give Barcelona what they want. They can have me house, they can have me wife, they can have anything. Let's just get Andre Gomes on a permanent, because the lad is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, he's played a lot of football since joining Everton Football Club. He's played a lot of football whilst not being necessarily 100% fit. He hadn't played football much before he joined the club, so he's played a fair decent amount, and I think it's fair to say in a couple of games he hasn't been 100% what we'd expected from when he first broke into the team. But that's not to say he's been particularly poor. He just hasn't had his best games. You know, speaking about Andre Gomes to the lads at Toffee TV, I spoke about it on live teams as well, obviously, saying how much would you be willing to pay for Andre Gomes, considering, you know, we were pretty much at a stage where we were willing to pay anything for him when he first broke into the team in October. How much now, given, you know, seeing, you know, more of his performances and allowing him time to settle into the league and get to grips with all the different teams in this league, how much would you pay for him? A lot of people said around 20 million, around 25 million, around 30 million. It's been rumoured by Sport, who are a Spanish media outlet. They've said that Everton are in talks with Barcelona over a permanent transfer for midfielder Andre Gomes. Everton are willing to pay around 25 to 30 million euros, so around 22 probably to 25 million pounds, 26, 27 million pounds if it's 30 million euros. Let me know what you guys think in the live comments about that. If you're watching it as a YouTube video, of course, let me know what you think in the YouTube comments. Just off the bat, for me, I would pay £30 million for Andre Gomes. I would. I think he's a really, really good footballer. I think there's probably better footballers out there, but one thing for me is that there isn't a better footballer in our squad out there, and Andre Gomes has come out in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, he was interviewed by Sky before the Chelsea game, and he said, listen, I'm really, really happy at Everton. I'm enjoying my football. I'm really, really happy in this city. You know, I love the fans. I love how it's going, and we'll just have to see what happens at the end of the season. So if Barcelona are willing to sell him to us for around 25 to 30 million pounds, and the player's willing to come, I think it'd be a good deal. Like I said, you put 30 million or even 20, 25 million in the perspective of this day and age in football and in the Premier League. You've got players that, you know, have had 2 Premier League caps that are going for around that. And now you've got Andre Gomes, who has been consistently in the team week in, week out. I think he's only not started a couple of games since he broke into the team in mid-October. Obviously a fantastic footballer, no doubting it on the ball. He's absolutely quality, and he proved that even against the sides like Liverpool and Anfield, he can boss the game. Yes, he might have had a couple of off games. Yes, he mightn't be as involved as we would like him to, but for me, I think we're probably looking like we're already going to need to replace a midfielder in the summer if Idrissa Gana Gueye gets his dream move that he keeps on banging on about. So I think £25 million for Andre Gomes is a really, really good deal for me, and it's a really good benchmark to start off our summer transfer window if Marcel Brands can get that deal over the line. That guy says, anyone else realised how much of a steal Luca Dean was? Exactly, 100%, absolutely fantastic football, and for me, our signing of the season along with Richarlison, but then again maybe Bernard as well, and everyone basically, but he's an absolutely fantastic footballer. Shabba says, the Siren is frigging great, Cam. I just wish it was a little bit longer and louder to deafen the whole ground, and also turn the lights down on a night match to get everyone scared. That's a really, really good point, actually, turning the lights down as well on a game like a night game, on a late game, to, you know, add that little bit more fierceness, add that little bit more of an intimidation. Now, don't get me wrong, I think, personally, for me, I think there's a fine line between, you know, doing that, turning the lights down, having the siren on, getting that bit of intimidation, and becoming a little bit too, how do I say this, a little bit too over dramatic, Hollywoodized, if you like. I went to Southampton a couple of weeks ago and they had all the light show, they had the fireworks, and for me it was just a little bit too Hollywood to go and watch Southampton Football Club, who were battling relegation at the time. So we need to make sure that we don't cross that fine line into, for me, in my opinion anyway, I don't want to be seen as one of those clubs that, you know, players are coming out to like a Hollywood entrance and fireworks and all this and all that shite. But I do agree with you, if we could dim the lights a little bit and have that signing, it would of course create, you know, an amazing atmosphere, and there would be the opposition fans and players would be intimidated, and they would automatically go, shit, what's going to happen here? David says, Lucas has been the player of the season for me. I do expect Bernard to go nuts next season, though. His touch and vision are fantastic. Exactly, and when Bernard has had a full pre-season under his belt and he is fit and ready to go next year, he's going to be an absolutely fantastic player. He is already, but like I said, when he's got that fitness and he starts to work on his, you know, his shooting, and he starts to work on other bits of his game that he could get better at, he's going to be an absolutely fantastic footballer. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. A little bit of a short one today. Let me know your thoughts, of course, on the Andre Gomes rumour. Would you be willing to sign Andre Gomes for up to €30 million? If not, who would you rather sign instead? Do you think it's a really, really good deal? Let me know in the comments section and in the live comments if you're watching it live. What do you think about the Z-Car signing? Do you think that it should be used at every single game? Or do you believe that we should only use it in the derbies or in the big games and when we really, really need that extra hand? Let me know, of course, all of your thoughts and comments. I'll be commenting all night back to them. It'd be really, really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that. Mitchell says, if it was his audition to get a Prem, if that was his audition to get a perm, I must say that's worrying. He has been inconsistent, and that's putting it nicely. If that's him saying make the move perm, this is what I've got, I'd go elsewhere. Fair enough, and I think there's going to be a lot of fans that'll have a similar opinion about Andre Gomes. To be honest, the inconsistency is probably an issue, and an issue, like I said, that a lot of fans will have because of how, in the last 5 or 6 weeks, he has tailed off a little bit. Like I said, I just think that 25 million for a player of his quality and what he can be is a good deal. But, fair enough. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the live comments. Good Soul says, good video, Cam. Thank you very much, Good Soul. And thank you, everyone, for getting involved in the live comments. As per usual, it really, really does mean a massive amount to me. If you're watching as a YouTube video afterwards, thank you all very much for taking time out of your day to watch as well. I'll be back on Friday, of course, for another live stream. We'll be speaking more about Everton Football Club. Hopefully, there'll be a little bit more news to talk about as well. Of course, no game this weekend because of the international break, so we've got a free weekend away from Everton Football Club, even though we're probably at the time that we really, really want to see Everton because of the performance against Chelsea. But yeah, free weekend, but of course I'll still be streaming at 6:15 on Friday, so don't forget to join me for that one. If you have enjoyed today's stream, please do leave a like, and like I said, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. Just 10 days until I do the zip line across Goodison, raising funds for Everton in the community. The Just Giving page is still at the top line of the description, so if you've got absolutely any spare pennies whatsoever, I really, really would appreciate if you could go over and drop anything that you have to sponsor me. All funds, of course, going towards Everton in the community, and I'll be doing the zip slide across Goodison Park and filming it for your pure entertainment. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for today. David says we paid 27 million for Schneiderlin. Exactly, and is Gomes a better footballer than Schneiderlin? I'll leave that down to you guys. Let me know in the comments section down below. But anyway, that is going to do it from me today. A massive thank you everyone for watching. See you on Friday at 6:15 to talk more about this absolutely amazing football club that we all know and love. But that's going to do it from me. A massive thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.